Welcome back to Genesis Sais Quoi, the space where we stop shrinking for comfort of others and start reclaiming our power. Today, we're joined by someone who views the human body not as a project to be perfected, but as a masterpiece to be honored in every stage. Meg Oswalt is a registered yoga teacher and a cornerstone of the instructor teams across multiple studios. As a mother and a specialist in prenatal yoga, Meg understands that our bodies aren't static, they're rhythmic. She teaches us how to celebrate our strength in every season, whether we're in a season of high energy growth or the quiet, heavy work of healing and rest. She reminds us that the sacred pause isn't just a break. It's an act of defiance against a world that tells us we are never enough. Together, we're diving into the reality of balance and why her approach to mindfulness is a game changer for anyone navigating life's messy and beautiful moments. Please welcome the brilliant and intentional Meg Oswalt. Meg, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're amazing. I'm
thanks.
so glad you're here. And I appreciate you taking time to talk with me today. This is going to be fun.
Okay,
so I just want to jump right in. I think we all have an idea of what yoga is or is not.
Mm-hmm.
So before we start, I would love to know from you, beyond the poses and the leggings, what is the true essence of yoga to you? What is that secret sauce that people don't necessarily see on Instagram?
So I really see yoga is like, how people say they know like the iceberg below the surface of what we see and what's there. You can learn your whole life and not know the vastness of yoga in general. I mean, I feel like going back, yoga was intended for little boys to move their bodies so they could sit in meditation because they were too squirrely. So we need to move a little bit.
Okay.
And meditation was the goal. That's where we're going. And over time, more and more people liked moving their bodies. And then we've got modern gymnastics and Pilates comes into play. And I don't feel like you can define yoga at all, really. But every yoga studio is so different. Everyone who's done different trainings piles those into who they are, and then they put their own shine on it.
Right.
And you've got teachers who are really heavy into yoga philosophy, teachers who are really into anatomy-based yoga. There's just so much variety there that I don't feel like it's a thing that you can define. You can go to a million people on the internet that say they're experts, and they may be in their tiny piece of the iceberg. And you just have to find the person or teachers that align with you and that you feel like you get something out of it.
Yeah. So yoga itself, I'm going to do a plug for myself, is a literal like Genesis Sais Quoi. Like it's literally like you can't put your finger on it.
Right.
But it's your special thing, and you can put your own spin on what you've learned.
Right. And I think too, when
Not
you
your own spin.
it is your own spin in a way though, because you say like, just the way you even worded your question of what we see on Instagram. Well, who are you following on Instagram?
Oh, that's a great point.
Like there's a beautiful human I follow called Thick Thigh Yoga.
Okay.
And she's amazing, but she doesn't look like an ad for yoga. And I think that we have been, like with all marketing, brainwashed a little bit to believe that it's the leggings and the crop top and standing on your head. And I know a few people who can stand on their head, but not very many. And that's not really what the practice is about.
Yeah.
It's about kind of getting to know yourself, being in your own body. And I think that we just really color our perception of what it is. And like with anything else, really, religion, with the way we raise our kids, it's this huge, vast thing. And then we kind of, our little prism, and we pull everything in. And then what we shoot out, people can either take it or leave it.
I really love that. So, what does that kind of look like for you then?
Well, I feel like my very first yoga class, I was in my early 20s. I was a teacher. I was teaching 4th grade. And I hated it. Those kids were my whole life. But I was so anxious. And there was a hot yoga studio near the school I was teaching at. And it was the first place I really felt like my brain turned off.
Wow.
And so
that's saying a lot, by the way.
Like I could just be. And I feel like this is for sure a tangent, but as, a 90s kid, if you were not good at a sport, you were not athletic.
Okay, yeah. I
I
see
feel like
that.
I grew up that way.
Mhm.
And so I just kind of believed I wasn't an athletic moving person.
Wow.
And I feel like through yoga, I found, well, okay, maybe I just wasn't moving my body in the way that it's supposed to be. And it's not a competition. And we learn to work out for the sake of our own kind of what it fills our cup. So I feel like, again, it was different layers of trying a hot studio. I was working on also my master's of library sciences at the time.
Wow.
And I had this really dream of like being a school librarian, and my little ducks would just come to school. Like my kids would come to the library after school, and
Do
it
you
would
call them your
just
ducks?
yeah.
That's adorable. I call my kids chickens, so I love that.
Like they were just going to be coming to the library
Yeah.
after school, and that was the dream.
Yeah.
And that dream, changed a little. Kind of, life in general. We wound up moving to Florida.
Yeah.
And all I had left of my master's was my internship. So I was able to work at a middle school and high school there. And then I plugged into the hippiest, dippiest, cutest yoga studio in the whole wide world. And it was very hippy dippy. And I was also working at a middle school and an elementary in the library. And I wanted to do my yoga teacher training at this studio. And my teacher, Kathy, there really truly believed that in your foundational yoga training, the background, the history, the philosophy of yoga is what you needed to have.
Got it.
The movement, the asanas, we say, could come from going to practice, from learning on your own and playing in your body. She treated it more of, you need to know the history of where we've been. And when I talk to people here, I don't feel like that's a common thread, really. People, get a little bit of the yoga philosophy, but they don't get the majority of their foundational training.
In your experience, do you feel like that's important? Like that really defined part of what made you so passionate about it?
Yes, but I also feel like if I had more of an anatomy-based focus, I would have thought that was important too.
That's fair.
So
it goes back to what you said in the beginning. It's what you take from it, what you find to be important.
And in the original, I didn't care that much about the anatomy stuff. When I went ahead and did the additional 300-hour certificate, I got really into the anatomy because I'd been practicing yoga for 10 years already. Yeah. I'd been moving my body. And then my mind was more awake to like, well, wait a minute. How do these muscles knit together? Why are my feeling sensation here but not here? Mm-hmm. How can I work my students through those kinds of things?
Right. Really quick. I'm so sorry. Before you answer this, something you said in yoga the other night really stuck with me because I went to your class, which was amazing.
Well, thank you.
But I loved how you kept telling us to thank our bodies and thank it for how strong it was and like what it was doing and like just be grateful for our bodies. And I loved that. And I just wanted to mention that. Now you go. I just wanted to mention that was amazing. And it literally, in the moment, it really got me to stop and go, wow, like it was mindful. It was so mindful.
Well, I feel like I'm so glad you took that away from me because I feel like that's what I want people to take away is that we have been there. Feel like you see all those things on the internet of like, this is what we were told was fat when we were teenagers. Gosh, yeah. It's like, oh. And then there's also a little, like, I don't know, some video recently that was shared where some woman is like, we're all different breeds of dogs. And no matter what I do, I'm still going to be a fat little corgi. Okay. Or not a fat little corgi, but a squatty corgi. I'm not a tall person.
Right. Like
I'm not going to turn into a greyhound.
Right. Okay.
No amount of exercise is going to make this look like a greyhound.
That's legit. I've never heard
I was like
that. I love
internet
that.
lady, you're like, that's the thing. It's like you could scroll for days and see garbage. And then there's like a gym and you're like, well, this is why I keep scrolling.
Yeah.
This lady and her dog breeds. Like, you are spot on, lady. Because she was like, if I just got really, really skinny, then I'm just going to look like a sickly corgi or whatever dog she was. Right. I'm not going to be a greyhound.
What dog am I?
I don't know. There's probably a quiz we can take on the internet.
Love that.
But I just feel like as someone who, as personally, I mean, I've had 3 kids. It's always hard when you don't look like you did when you were 24. For some reason, we have this in our mind that that's still a thing we could have gotten back to.
Right.
And we get really where we don't celebrate what this body has done. And we may say it, but like living it is different. Mm. I myself have yo-yoed up and down. And I think that I know underneath some of the fluff on my body, there's a lot of muscle because I can do some things. But I don't know how much any of this is going to change. So I need to be happy where I am today. And my body can do some things. and I want to be able to give my kid a piggyback. I want to be able to go on a bike ride on a whim, and I want to be able to lead a yoga class full of a group of awesome women. And so if I focus too much on like hating what I've got, then that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it really does. And I love that you encourage that, because all body shapes and types, like we can do anything.
Yeah.
We can do anything. And I think that's such a great thing too, to see not only so many body types, but like through all the seasons, like we're staying centered. We're staying
Right.
strong.
The core of who I am has not changed. And so the core of who we all are is we are built of love and light.
Yeah.
And everything else is just like what we add in and take away, but the core is the same.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We're built of love and light. I need to put that on like a bumper sticker. I need that. Like, I love that a lot.
Well, we're not built of hate and chaos,
Yeah. And it's a shame that in the world when we can become so dysregulated and we're not centering ourselves, like it can feel like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If I'm like traveling or I haven't made time to be on my mat or take a moment to meditate, then it's like, oh, you can really quickly feel like, man, the world is crazy.
Yeah.
Things are terrible. And there can be, but like also there's a lot of beauty and a lot of joy, and we lose sight of it pretty quickly.
So how do you feel like we can shift our mindset from fixing to celebrating?
I mean, I think it's like there's, back to the secret sauce. The sauce is going to be different for every single person. And I feel like that's where yoga or any workout or anything that works for you comes into practice. If you really like reading Brene Brown books, or you really like going to yoga or going for runs, like you have to figure out what brings you joy. We have to figure out what kind of spikes our joy and then dive deeper into that. And that's how we can kind of find peace with who we are, I believe. I would sing from the rooftops to every person I know, come to yoga, it helps. But I do know that it's not going to be everyone's,
nah,
fix all.
I refuse to believe that.
I do think the world would be a better place if everyone could be in some yoga classes.
Yeah.
But I also know like that's not going to.
Well, and every yoga class is different, right?
Oh, that's very true. That is very true. I mean, like we were talking about with everybody taking all the trainings and all the teachers they've had and kind of shooting all that through themselves. Every teacher is going to take a very different take on what is a slow flow, what is a restorative practice, what is a fast moving practice. And I think that if you try one yoga class and it's not a fit, don't be like, I don't like yoga.
Right.
But that's kind of the same with like, if you tried Orange Theory or F45 or whatever, like don't write anything off, I think, with one instructor one time.
I like that a lot.
Because you've got to see how it fits for you.
Yeah.
And see how different people take the same material. Because I think we could all get the same material and we're going to tell a totally different story.
Yes. I agree with that more than you even know. But that's true. And so I guess it's, what would you say to somebody who like, oh, I did yoga, it wasn't for me. Would you say like, try a different class, try a slow flow, try a fast flow, try like what I did with you the night, like a workout.
Yeah. So that one was just like so that was the, like the strengthening class.
Not workout. Sorry, I meant strength.
I mean, it
felt like a workout.
It was a workout.
Really good.
I mean, it was a tiny bit of yoga with weights thrown in, you know? And I think that there's similar movements, so people get that kind of feeling. We still are always going to take a lovely shavasana at the end of any class. So you might have worked really hard, but you get a few precious moments to just be. But yeah, I would tell anybody to try different teachers, try different classes, try different studios. It's all like different friends. And so you can't just write things off because one thing wasn't a fit.
Right. Yes. I love that. Oh, I love that. It's very encouraging. And anyone out there who's like, I've decided, keep an open mind.
Right.
Because there are lots of different opportunities to try and decide. Maybe change your mind. Right. You know, I don't like grape juice, but I love grapes. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I don't really like grape juice either.
You've spent, we have to brag on this, over 500 hours in advanced training, mastering everything from the mechanics of the nervous system to the ancient art of yoga in a world obsessed with hustle. Why have you made it your mission to teach people how to master the art of slowing down? 500 hours. That's a lot of time.
And
it's
been really spread out. I mean,
okay. I'm singing like the Rent song in my 500.
Oh, yeah. I think about like young 20-something me as a teacher who was just an anxious mess.
Mm.
And then I think about young kids mom me who was an anxious mess. And we think that we need to be at the park all the time and we need to have really in educational great activities. And we do need some of that, but we don't have to always, when we're trying to do and don't take any time for ourselves, we don't fill our cup at all. Like I know personally I turn into a bit of a monster.
Mm.
And I think there's a part of us that just thinks like, oh, we're a bad mom or we're a bad, I'm just a terrible human being. And it's like, well, no, did I really stop to take care of myself at all? And I think a lot of us don't stop to take care of ourselves, or our self-care is watching TV for 5 hours straight or something. And there's nothing wrong with that. But physiologically, when we're watching a show, our brain is still firing. We're still trying to figure out what's happening. We've got the arousal of the sights and sounds. And so moving into nature, moving on to a guided yoga practice or a guided meditation kind of turns off some of that.
Right.
And we've got to retrain ourselves to take a walk without looking down at the phone. We've got to train ourselves to, because we're just going to feel like anxious and more anxious. And so I really want more people to be like, okay, yeah, I did really like walking outside. I don't know why I don't do it though, but like, maybe I should do that. Mm-hmm. Oh, I really did like that one time I went to yoga class, but I'm too tired after the day, so I just watch garbage television, you know?
So taking time to be more mindful.
Yes, that is perfect. Yeah. I would say just being more mindful of the things that fill your cup.
Yeah.
In a positive way. I think we've seen a resurgence of granny crafts, you know.
Which I love a granny craft.
Yes, I'm very into the woobles.
What are woobles?
Oh, they're fantastic.
Tell me, though.
They are little crochet kits that have little videos.
Oh, cute. Okay.
And they make these little, like, I can't ever say the emigaries.
I wouldn't be able to correct you.
Okay. Well, they're adorable little animals, and they're little fluffies, and you stuff them. And I've made a little narwhal and a little monkey.
Yeah.
And,
oh, well, that's cute. I love this. I love this for you.
Yeah, it's really sweet. It's just nice, and they're pretty easy.
Yeah.
My daughter's kind of half started several of them, but she gets frustrated and quits. So,
well, you know, different vibes. But I love that you do that. And I love your perspective of the importance of mindfulness. And even when it's kind of hard, where the easier choice is to scroll, the easier choice is to kind of sit and zone out, even though you're not turning off, you're zoning out on the TV.
Right.
It's not a mindful choice.
Right. Well, and we're still, I think that people don't realize as much that we're still amping up our nervous system, like that stress.
Yeah. Give me another sentence. I need more of this. What do you say?
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is that we are in not in a constant state of stress, but
you could say that. I feel like 2026. It's a safe place for that.
We are stressed as a people, and what peaks that stress, and it's going to vary for everyone. You may be living a different life than I am living, or the exact same life, and we're going to feel like very different levels of stress. You might have two nurses who both work 12-hour shifts, and one, because she's taking time for herself outside of the hospital, feels a lot more zen while she's there, whereas the other nurse is just like, when we don't ever come down, our heart rate is continuing to be higher, and we just become more and more anxious, and we look for other ways. You know, we numb it with alcohol. We numb it with staying up late and scrolling and watching TV, and then we get bad sleep.
Yeah.
And then that carries on to the next day. I just think, you know, none of us are perfect, but stepping back to learn the things that regulate your system is just going to make for a much more beautiful, joyful life. Yes,
I totally agree. And I think that is such great advice.
Well, I'm not sure I explained it the way I meant to in my head, but like...
I felt like I felt like I nailed it. And I also love an example, like when you're like the two nurses, I'm like, okay, I can see the two nurses. Like, I love stuff like that.
And like the two teachers or the two, you know, like, and I mean, all my examples don't have to, they could be firefighters, they could be, you know, whatever. But
It's an equal opportunity.
Right. Opportunities for all to be stressed or not.
Yes. Ooh. I don't even think either of us realize how deep that just was, what you just said. Yes. That's so important to be mindful when you think about it like that.
Well, and also like modeling it to our kids of like, you've had a really rough day. You want to come home and you want to play, pay your token to watch play video games.
We're going to talk about that later because I want to hear about that later.
Oh, we do it. You get tokens that are like, it started as poker chips.
Love that.
So you pay for iPad, TV, video games.
I love this.
Everything's 25-minute increments.
Yes.
Wednesday's nothing. Screen-free Wednesday. So I just want...
That's why I love this podcast. I'm learning so much. I'm learning about yoga. I'm learning about motherhood. I'm learning about token opportunities for my children.
Oh, they get mad some days. They're pretty mad about it. But then some days it's like...
Go do some yoga. Relax.
Well, but sometimes they just find something else to do.
Yeah, and let them be bored.
Right.
Let them be mindful.
Yeah.
Ooh, full circle. Was there a specific moment in your own life where yoga shifted from being a workout to a calling? I know you said you found it in a time when you were anxious.
Yes.
You were in a much different place. So when did that moment shift and you were like, okay, this is what I want to do?
I mean, I still think I'm in that moment.
Yoga's a practice, right?
It's a practice. When we moved back from Florida, I had a toddler at home and I was pregnant, and I started teaching yoga just once a week, like again. And because I'd kind of had where I'd practiced but not been teaching. And that I started it Tuesdays over at Bella Yoga, and I hadn't really taught much, and she took a chance on me. And
love that.
And it just kind of became this like anchor for the week, like Tuesday to Tuesday of like, this is where I go do something with adults. I plan things for other people that are not toddlers. And from there, I feel like it just grew, and then I needed more training. I was like, well, I've used up everything, not everything in my toolbox, but I wanted more. I wanted to go deeper.
Yes.
And then I started looking around for programs, and Awakened Yoga in Sugar Land had a 300-hour advanced teacher training. So I had another baby in there. The prenatal offerings around were not ideal. I found a really great Yoga Renew does online trainings, and I would not, little caveat, if you're interested in yoga training at all for anybody, I wouldn't do your baseline training. Like I would make sure that was in person, but like for additional certifications or stuff, there's a lot out there.
I believe it.
And there's a lot of people out there that will give you sound advice of like, this is something, this is not really something, and I did this prenatal training through them. They had we had Zoom meetings, and they talked about how things felt in a pregnant body. There was a lot more anatomy.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I feel like even when I was a yoga teacher and I had my third kid, I feel like I wasn't ready to hear. Like I knew what things were happening in my body, but like I wasn't really ready to be deep with that because it was a little too much at the time.
In what way? What do you mean? Like gross body stuff?
No, not like gross body stuff. Like
it's like, let's be honest about pregnancy, it's gross body stuff.
There's some gross body stuff, but like the relaxin in our body that we feel like. You get people who come to yoga because their doctor told them to do yoga during pregnancy, and they think like, well, I'm just really limber. And it's like, well, your hips are opening up. Like our whole body is softening to make way for us to be able to push a baby out. So this flexibility you feel is borrowed. Like this is not this is your body preparing for a baby. So you have to be really careful not to overstretch, to overmove, because it's not truly where your flexibility is.
Yeah.
And it's going to stay in your system for like a year after you have the baby.
That's very interesting, especially because we want to like feel invincible in these spots where we're all the time, but especially when we're kind of a little weaker, like we're pregnant, where there's a lot of things we can't do. But then
they're like, if I put my leg to the side, I can touch my toe. I've never touched my toe all the way over there. And it's like, well, you can. And not that we can't celebrate that, but like.
Yeah. And so you felt like in that time you weren't ready to accept that either?
I just wasn't ready, I feel like, to understand all the intricacies of, how my hips were expanding, how, where the sciatic nerve is going to run. A lot of people say they have sciatic pain and they don't even really know where the sciatic nerve is, and it's like, okay, well, it's like, how's your hamstrings? Well, I'm not telling you about my hamstrings. I'm telling you about my sciatic nerve. And you're like, well, like,
you're like, well,
okay, well, it's kind of all connected.
There's a whole song about it, guys.
It's all connected. And now it's been really fun to to talk to people who are pregnant, to work with mothers,
Yeah.
because I come from having my kids, and I honestly didn't know all this stuff when I was pregnant with them. And also one of the things in that training that I loved was like, so anybody who comes to you for prenatal yoga isn't really coming for your story. You've heard one pregnant lady's story. You've heard one pregnant lady's story. Like, your story is not just because someone had an emergency C-section and they were in labor for days, and that doesn't mean that's going to be their story.
Exactly.
And so when we imprint these stories on people who are in a vulnerable state, who are pregnant, and maybe freaking out because it's their first, they don't really need to hear your horror stories.
Yeah.
And there is something funny about, as women, like when I have pregnant women, like in a general population class, you know, even women in their 60s and 70s have this desire to like get their baggage out from their own pregnancy.
Yes.
And it's so fascinating because you're just like, what about like, it pulls up this thread of like, I see a pregnant woman. Let me tell you the most horrific part of my entire pregnancy. And
why do people do that?
I don't know. Like, I feel like there's got to be some psychological reason for that.
I feel like people do it with a lot of stuff.
Oh, yes. Oh, you have knee pain? You know, I had a whole replacement there. And you're like, well, I mean, it's just kind of bothering me right now.
Yeah. You're like, my brother died from knee pain, but you're probably fine.
You're probably
I
fine.
don't know.
Yeah. I don't know why we do that.
I think it just goes back to just the importance of like having your own, like going in and saying, I'm here to like learn what's best for my body.
Right. Right.
So,
I can give you suggestions all day long.
Yeah.
But like, nobody in the universe knows this body better than you do. And so ultimately it's your responsibility.
Ugh.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, but it's kind of great.
But that's why we come to these classes, because it's like, yes, it's my responsibility to get here, but I know you're going to walk me safely through how to do these things and how to like.
Right. I heard what I needed.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same, like in a podcast, in a yoga, like, again, the great blanket statement of our ears are open to what we need. I might throw a lot of balls out there. And then what you really heard was like, I need to be thankful for this vessel of mine.
Yeah.
But like somebody
That's true. You did say more than that, but I really clung to that. That's so true. Oh, what a good example.
Yeah.
You've reached a major milestone in your time training and working as a yoga instructor. What was the most unzen or difficult part of the advanced certification people don't see? Is there some stuff that you're like, oh my God, this is like really hard, or I don't know, this training is difficult? Or
I think going back to my most recent trainings, the hardest part were kind of more the personal self-awareness stuff. We did this whole section on leadership, and
oh, interesting.
Yeah. Well, because you are kind of leading people through things.
Yeah. No, you're definitely a leader. I just didn't think about that.
And we spent all this time on SMART goals, and it just really pissed me off because at the time too, like when I had started training, I felt just really a lot of guilt about all the time I was taking away from my kids. I was, spending some weekend. Yeah. So it's like I would go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like once a month, once every 6 weeks, get all these hours in. And it was, people at different stages of life. So some people I was the only person really kind of with younger kids, but it was interesting to talk to people without and with older. But I got really upset during the SMART goal thing because it was like, well, I'm just going to take better care of myself. And I remember one of the leaders being like, well, what does that look like? And I was just like, I don't know, like, I'm going to do more yoga. And it's like, well, you already do that. Like, what else does that look like?
Yeah.
Like,
having to really challenge yourself.
Right. And I was just like, my husband and I always kind of joke, like, because he'll like ask me pointed questions about something. I'm like, just quit asking me questions,
Yeah.
And I felt like in this moment, like this lady was just like, I was like, just wanted to yell at her, like, quit asking me questions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you're not going to figure it out today, when you set aside time to figure it out, when are you going to figure it out? When you're in the pickup line, when you are at the grocery store, like if we are sitting here now with our notebooks and our questions, like if you've set aside this circle of time to go through some of this and you're like, now's not the time, when is the time?
Oh, these rude, absolutely right people.
I know. So that was
audacity, but that's okay. But that's like, you were challenging yourself to that. Did you ever figure it out? Did you give her an answer, or did you tell her to like mind business?
More definable, like what does, we did this whole kind of exercise with like, what does my life look like a year from now? An ideal situation. What does my life look like 3 years from now in an ideal situation?
And worked your way backwards.
Right. And worked your way backwards.
I love doing that.
What am I doing to like get there?
Yes.
And it's like, well, the ideal me is like if someone wants to go a friend and I went to Honduras like a million years ago, and we climbed a volcano, and I was
As
like,
one does.
as ridiculously out of shape. And my friend Lauren, she
Yeah,
like
we love
booked it.
Lauren.
Yes, she booked it, and I was just like dying. And I feel like that has been one of those things that I've always come back to, of like, I always want to be in enough physical and good enough shape that someone says tomorrow, let's go hike a volcano, that I'm not missing that opportunity.
Yes. I love that.
And so
That's a gorgeous goal. It is.
Right. I'm not missing the opportunity to do whatever. And so working back from that, like, well, what do I need to do to make sure that that's happening?
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things is like, well, you can't just never walk or run. If you're never walking or running and then it's a 6-mile hike tomorrow, like, then the 6-mile hike tomorrow is not going to work. And I feel like when you come on the other side of smaller kids, like my youngest is 5 now, there's so much time just keeping people alive and moving.
Yes.
That like you kind of forget things about yourself. Forget what I actually like. And then when someone asks you, it kind of pisses you off because you're forced to think a little bit about like, I don't even know what I like anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what like.
But we deserve to know what
Right.
we like. But it's also like, man, it's another thing. I have to add it
Right.
to the list now.
Oh, you want to know what I want for a birthday? You need a link from me.
Just freaking know. Just know.
Right. Because I don't even know what I want for my birthday.
That's what they really mean when they say new friends. We have no time to explain
Right.
our 20-year backstory of like
Right.
how we got here.
That's true. There's layers to everything.
Yeah. I love though that you were pushed in that way. And it's not a way I was thinking, when I and this is I don't know, but when I think of yoga, I think of like the mindfulness practices, but I don't think about the leadership, the things we have to know about ourselves,
Right.
what our goals are, and I didn't think about those things. So I love that you were challenged in that.
That was the hard. I mean, to me, that's where my challenges were. But it was also somebody, that wasn't the same difficulty, I think, for the other people in the program because
Right.
they were at different stages of life.
Yeah.
And that's, again, it was like a thing I dug into and heard because I needed to hear then.
Looking back at your first year teaching,
Uh-huh.
how has your voice as an instructor evolved? What do you tell your students now that you didn't have the confidence to say back then?
Well, when I started teaching yoga, I had already been teaching elementary school.
Yeah. Well, so you're like, we can do anything.
Right.
There's some confidence.
I think I oversimplified a lot of things.
Oh.
I feel like I didn't trust students to know kind of, because you do get people who walk in the door who don't know anything about their bodies.
Yeah.
They don't know and at this point, I feel like most people who knock on the door can show you what a child's pose is, show you what a down dog is. Oh, mountain, I'm just going to stand up.
Yeah.
People can, because of the media, that it's something out there, they know some basic poses and
Right.
things. So I feel like I over-explained a lot of things where it's like you could just feel it in your body probably more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as a fresher teacher, I just talked a lot more about the sequence itself. Whereas now I get really into these, like I've been doing a little series on like returning to roots. And a lot of it is, okay, like the core, like let's do some core work, but also like internally, like who are we at the core? Like take a few minutes to like really reflect on like what do you see as the core of who you are? And then like I weave that into class.
Yeah.
Like, and then the same kind of thing I did a focus a few weeks ago of like, we focus on one point so we keep balanced.
Yeah.
But like where our focus is, that's where our life goes. That's where our body goes. That's where, so if you don't have any focus, you're just kind of all over the place. And so like, how are we bringing that back in? And then we did a little thing where we like bounced on our tippy toes because it takes some focus to like stand there with, your heels raised up. And then tried that kind of in a few different ways, like laying down and then standing up. And then, so I'm really much more into, I feel like because I have taught the movements for a long time now, weaving in some more of the, what I know I need to hear. So I think other people might need to hear too.
Yeah. I got like watery. I got verklempt a little bit. I did when you were talking about like knowing yourself at the core.
Yeah.
I had a visceral reaction of like getting emotional. I love that. I think that that's really a gorgeous thing that people can stop in that moment and like say like, what am I trying to get out of this moment? Who am I?
Right.
which is like really hard. Going back to the last question, stopping and asking yourself that is so difficult. When we're at the store,
Right.
where we're, and so taking that time to not only be moving ourselves physically, but thinking about who we are.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you do that.
Well, thanks.
I want to take this class. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
No, it's wonderful.
You're wonderful. I love that. But I love too that you can see how your teaching has changed and how the way, your intentionality with your confidence can be there now because you're like, we're going to figure it out.
Right.
I'm going to go up and think about that. Like, oh my God. Do you find, I just have a side question I didn't plan out.
Okay.
It's not deep, don't worry. But when you're doing your timing, how do you know when to like tell us to move into the next thing? Do you just feel it? Do you just kind of go, oh, we've been in this position for a minute. Like, now it's time to move. Like the timing of it.
Well, so it depends on what type of class you're going to.
Okay.
So for a faster flow class, you're going to lay things out like a pattern in 3 to 5 breaths per movement.
Okay.
And then you're going to build up to kind of 1 breath per movement. Like inhale, we lift, exhale, we bow, inhale, we rise, So you've got that rhythm going. But the slower the practice, the more breaths you want to allow for each posture. If we're trying to really warm up the quads, you might stay in something longer, like, a warrior 2 or like a goddess. It's like where you just kind of a wide leg. Yes, the goddess pose.
I love a goddess.
Well, it's hard on the thighs. So we might stay a little bit to just, channel our inner goddess, but also we've got a major muscle group here. And if we can be there fired up, we get the heart rate a little higher. And now as we continue to move out of that posture that we spent some time in, our muscles are warmer, maybe open to more balancing or flexibility.
There's so much thought that goes into this. And I know you know that. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to be thinking like the whole time. Or I guess for you now it's natural.
Right. I would say like I think back to like a younger me teaching, and it's like that's why those Tuesdays were so sacred. I planned for that Tuesday the whole week, and now it's like, well, I want to pull this, and my body knows. I know where to stay 3 breaths. I know where to stay 5 breaths. I know, 10 breaths in a child's pose kind of thing. Yeah. Because my body and my mind are accustomed to that.
Yeah. They're like,
those are my rhythms.
We've been doing this.
Yeah.
You talk a lot about breath, perfect timing, as a tool for the nervous system. Can you explain the actual beginnings of how a slow exhale signals safety to your brain?
This was when I read the question, I thought, oh, I need to like put this into words better. And then I never got back around to it. As we breathe in and we elongate the exhale, it slows us down. So for instance, I might ask someone to breathe in for a count of 4.
And do it.
Okay, let's breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more rounds. In for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, how does your heart rate feel?
I feel so good. I feel so good.
Yeah. So
that was so regulating.
We feel, when you're waiting in the doctor's office, you're waiting for the dentist. When your heart rate starts to go, okay, anticipatory, what's happening next? We have the power to control that a little bit. Yeah. And so those are the times where you can take those tools you've put in and breathe in and breathe out, but let the exhale be a little bit longer.
And it regulates you.
Right. It helps us to slow down our heart rate. Now, at one point, I could have explained fully the science behind that to you, but that's not in my brain at the moment.
That's okay.
But generally, there's a lot of things that, we incorporate into a yoga class where people don't really care to know why we did it the way we did it. But I think little tools that we can take to our daily life, just I love. You want to do one more?
one more breath?
One more
Yes.
exercise. Okay, this
Yes.
was
I
in a
love
prenatal.
this. Okay.
And this is like I think anybody who's taken a yoga class with me about anywhere knows this one. So take your hands out. Also upward in a receiving position.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to close our right hand. Imagine that you've pulled the air in through the right hand. It's traveled up the right arm. It's traveling across the chest. And now the breath is going to travel down left arm, out the left hand. Big exhale. On the end breath, we're going to close that left hand. It's going to travel up the left arm, across the collarbones, down right arm, out right hand. Exhale out. In breath, snatch that air up with the right hand. Pull it towards your center. It comes up the right arm. It crosses the torso, down left side. Let it go through left fingertips. Open up left hand. In breath, left hand closes. Up left hand to the left arm, over to the collarbones, down the right arm, down through right fingertips. Let it seek out the right hand. We'll do one more. Snatch the air with the right hand, pull it towards your body. Just let it go out left hand. Let your breath return to its kind of normal cadence. Let the fingers relax. Notice when you relax the hands, the fingers kind of curl. Just observe. Gently open the eyes from the bottom to the top.
Oh my gosh.
Are you ready to see the dentist now?
Oh my gosh. That was gorgeous. Even my lights relaxed. My lights were like, this is so peaceful. Hold on one second. That was gorgeous.
So that one's really great.
Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. So, if some people do not love an alternate nostril breath, I don't know if you know.
I do. I love a
Okay, some people don't love an alternate breath. It weirds some people out for some reason. So the hands are a really nice alternative because you're still thinking left side, right side of the brain. And we're not physically touching our nose. And people, I don't know, people get weirded out by that.
Yeah, if I have makeup on, I'm not going to want to like...
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers here. I can't just be touching my face. I had a drag queen come and pray over me before I left, but there's only so much that can do. That's one of the gorgeous things you said about maybe not being able to recite the science in that moment, but I can tell you how I feel.
Right.
I can tell you how what you just showed me makes me feel.
Right.
And that is like really all the science I need in this moment because I'm like, wow, like it speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, wow. I need you to come over my house every morning.
Oh, my house is pretty chaotic in the morning.
That's why we need the breaths.
We do.
How do you flip the switch?
Oh, that leads right way.
It literally always happens to flow. It always works out here. You might have had just a chaotic morning at home, but 5 minutes later, you lead a room full of people to a state of peace. What is your ritual in the car or in the lobby, leaving Mom Meg behind for Instructor Meg?
I tend to either have spa music in the car.
Ooh.
Or not silence.
Like a pregame for...
Yes, silence or spa music or restorative kind of flowy music. I don't... It's interesting, the whole kind of the flip the switch, because I think that one time my little sister came to my class and she was just like, I feel like you're acting.
Interesting.
And it kind of upset me because I was just like, no, this is just a part of me that you don't get to see very much,
I actually really like that you just said that because I feel like that can be true like in different groups of people and different things we're doing.
Right. We are different facets of who we are. We are mothers and we are teachers and we're different hats. And I think that it's not a matter of, we just have to step into the role we're going to do right now. And I think in one of somewhere, either was it when you emailed me or a question of like, how do I like find the Zen in my ordinary life too? Something along those lines of, I think that we expect sometimes, I just started yoga, it's going to fix everything, or I'm going to be so calm in the rest of life. And I think that just teaches us to be where we are right now. Like, I might be standing in chaos, but I know it's temporary chaos. Like, I'm not really any more zen in my normal life than any other mother. I just know that this too shall pass, and we'll move on to the other things.
Which goes back to mindfulness.
Right. Right. I know that this is not a permanent state.
Right.
My daughter's slamming the door because who knows what. She's not going to do that forever. And this too shall pass.
I love that you said it's not necessarily about flipping a switch. It's about knowing that this moment will pass.
Right. And we're different. We are different. And
Yeah.
you're a different person with your husband than you are with your best friend. We pull out different threads of who we are based on who's around us. And that's not, I think sometimes that gets a bad rap of like
inauthenticity.
Yes.
But it's not.
It's not. It's just you brought out a certain version of me, and that version got to play today.
Yeah. Oh, I like that a lot. Because we're onions, man. Has there been a moment where one of your kids has tried to join you on the mat or teach a class like you? How does that feel, seeing your passion reflected back through their eyes if they have?
It's interesting because it's like part of their personalities too. Like, I would say my oldest is very math brained, very like doesn't always really like a theatrical performance, likes things to be organized, very into Legos. Mm-hmm. But like my other two are a little more like whimsical and loosey-goosey. And my daughter has done several things with me. I taught our Girl Scout troop. I did a yoga class for them. And then that kind of have grown. I've done a couple different Girl Scout troops. And so Greta, my daughter, has come with me.
That's so cool.
And it's like, and she, like the second time we did it, she was like, you just did the same thing again. And I was like, you're the only repeat here, girl.
Right. You're the only one who knows. That's
and
so
she
funny.
was like,
leave it to our kids.
Yeah, she's like, no new material. And it's like, these people
critics,
don't know.
These critics. That's funny.
But she'll be like, well, I could lead some of it, you know. And so she's done a lot more of like mimicking, I guess, in that way. But she's also really into gymnastics. Yeah. And she'll say things to me like, well, can you do this in a bridge? Because you get one leg up. Can you? And I'm like, no, like that's not where my body is right now.
Right, but that's a great lesson for her as well.
Right.
That you're instilling early. That our bodies are different. Right. Mine's still strong and gorgeous, but I may not be able to do what you can do.
Right. Yes, your body's not fully developed.
Right. Your hips aren't even connected yet. Speaking of like soft bones. These kids.
Right. You have different. It's different.
Yeah.
There. And my youngest has been really funny of like there was a class a few months ago where his preschool follows this different school. And so like I thought I got a babysitter to teach, and I was at Awakened Yoga, and the babysitter, anyways, it was a miscommunication. And the lady who works the front desk there was like, just put him in the room with you. And I was like, no, I can't do that. That's going to mess up the whole zen of it, the whole vibe. Like I cannot have this child in the room with me. And she's like, it'll be fine. Like, it'll be fine. So like we put a mat out, we put some coloring like stuff, and Jojo did like part of, like he would pop up and do part of it and then sit down and color and then pop up and do part of it. And so there was only a few people it was just a small class that day. And like, they all asked me about him all the time now. And it's just,
I love stuff like that.
I know it really worked out. I felt like it was kind of meant to be of like, because I was just kind of anti, like, no, you can't be part of this.
Yeah. Right. You kind of decided what something would be.
Right. And he proved me wrong. He was great. He did excellent.
And so much came from it.
Right. And
I think it's really gorgeous.
Yeah. But then he like translates that to like, I did yoga at the preschool, and he's just like, this is different. It's like, well, yeah, we're pretending to be, we're barking in our down dog. Like it's preschool yoga.
Yeah, that's fair. You got to keep them interested. Right. If we're not barking, what are we doing?
We're like hitting our friends. That's what we're doing.
Right. So bark, please bark.
Bark before it turns violent.
Do your kids like, that's funny. Do your kids, do you have to tell them like, hey guys, go do a mindful practice right now. You're dysregulated. Or are they kind of like, do they know themselves yet in that?
Oh, no.
Definitely not.
No, I would love that. That would be beautiful. I would say that my daughter, again, my daughter's the closest to that, but she would say things like, I just need to be alone for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so.
I love a self-aware queen.
Right. And so she wants her door closed. She might need to craft alone. And that's her vision of,
That's gorgeous. That's a meditation.
Right. That's those bead kits. Yeah. She gets into it.
Oof.
But
it's not my jam, but I love that for her.
No.
In a world that demands women always be on, how do you create a space where a woman is allowed to just be without being needed for 60 minutes?
So I would love to say this little tidbit of a story of there's this woman named Pat who is was part of the studio in Florida, and when I've gone back, she's still there. Like she's probably upper 70s now.
Get it, Pat?
Pat is great. Pat does literally like less than half of every class she goes to. And some she'll have her legs up the wall.
Yeah.
She'll just lay there. And it's like, it's like so affirming to see Pat do whatever the hell she wants.
God, be more like Pat.
Pat's great. She also drives a little red convertible. She's precious.
So cute.
I know. But I think that people need to hear, like, if what you need right now is to just be in a room with soft lights and soft music, nobody's asking anything from you. Like, you don't have to look left or right. It does not matter what the person's doing. It doesn't matter what I'm saying. And you don't get a lot of that. People generally feel the need to keep up with where the class is going. But every now and then you do see. I often tell people at the end of a class, we're going to start to move. If you want to stay where you are, just stay. There's no rush.
Right.
I love the language, too, of like, whatever's happened today is already happened. Whatever is yet to happen after this hour is yet to happen. Like, all there is right now is you in this little rectangle. And so, like, just be right here.
Yeah.
And so if you want to get all the pillows off the shelf, the bolsters, just make yourself a little cocoon. Go with that.
This is your time.
Right.
I love that you get to facilitate that for people. And you encourage it, because not everyone's Pat. Not everyone can feel like, okay, maybe this is what I need, but I do feel the pressure to keep up or look over at what Susie's doing. You know, it's like you saying, hey, I'm here to validate, like, if this is what you need, I want you to do it.
Right.
And I love that.
But I also don't want you to just, I don't think that anybody would just come and lay there every week. I think that also goes back to that knowing yourself, is that you know when you need to feel a little fire and you know when you need to feel a little calm.
Yeah. Which is also really cool about going to a studio that offers so many different things. Right. Because if you need a little more fire today, or if you need that slow movement, or someone to just say, hey, you can do this, like, go rest. Like, yeah. And we should all be more like Pat.
That's great.
How has yoga changed the way you move through a normal Tuesday?
Well, I think that just in affirming knowing and loving our bodies, but also knowing and loving opportunities. Like sitting in traffic is an opportunity to listen to my audiobook that I don't always get, Sitting in traffic is an opportunity to jam out with my kids sometimes, And so seeing things more as opportunities, as we were talking about, or not just like an annoying thing I have to do.
Yes.
I get to be the person who goes to help it field day. I get to be the person. And so just that mind shift too of being grateful for what you can do. There's people who can't do much. Mm-hmm. And so I want to be aware and thankful for what I can.
Beyond the fun physical poses, what is your absolute favorite part of being an instructor?
I would say the community of it. Like, I just feel like I love, like, people's hearts are a little open. They do share more with you, and I tend to share more with them. And I feel like the yoga just makes friends.
Yeah.
It's made friends.
It's a peaceful place to be.
It is. It's good.
At least it was for me. I can't say enough about how great that class was.
Well, thank you.
Yoga can sometimes feel intimidating. How do you hope your journey proves to those around you that yoga isn't about being flexible or a perfect body type, but about being more present in your own life?
I think, like, just when we go back to, like, the little bit of breath playing we did, we have control over a lot that we don't think we have control over. In so many ways, like, you are steering where you want things to go.
Right.
I did in a workshop once where it's like you drew a circle on a paper and write the things inside the circle that you want to be part of your family life or your work life or whatever, and the things outside, like, you don't want to be part of your world. Circling back to the yoga, is I just feel like I want people to remember that they're steering their own ship, to remember that they can choose what emotions that they play into, that you give, where your focus goes, your energy goes. If I'm really focused on being sad about something, I'm not saying forget that entirely.
Right.
But if I let that rule me, then that becomes my everyday life. So
that's so good. That's so good. If you're up for it, before we wrap up here, I would love to do a couple rapid fire.
Okay.
Quickie cuties,
Okay.
Coffee or matcha in the morning?
Coffee.
Do we have a love affair with coffee?
Oh, gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
I always like when someone says like, "Oh, I don't drink coffee." I'm like, "What? I don't understand. Like, how do you function?"
Did you just speak French? Like, I didn't even.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's something I would explore one day, but today is not that day.
Today's not the day.
No, coffee.
Yeah. Okay. Love that.
That's it.
Do you drink multiple cups throughout the day, or are you like a big cup and sip it?
Both.
Yeah.
My husband is really into like his little espresso machine and he makes lattes.
Yeah.
And I like make a whole pot and then I usually get a giant cup and I pour, he's just like, so literally you're just pouring the pot. Like it's just, you could just walk around with the pot.
The vessel changes.
Right. You could just walk around with the pot. That would work too. And I'm like, yeah, but
That's less fun than a cute little mug.
Right.
Yeah. I get it.
So, yeah.
So if I'm saying these wrong, I need you to tell me.
Okay.
Shavasana or sun salutations flow? Like, which is your fave? Or does it just depend?
Oh, depends, but mostly Shavasana.
Okay. Can you tell us, like, give us a small excerpt of, like, what that is? Like, is it, because it's like rest, right?
It is rest, also known as corpse pose.
Oh, so like laying.
You're right.
I could do that.
Right. Laying down. I had a friend once said that she had a guy and her, it's like it always, she had a guy be like, it's just, upward looking sloth pose.
Upward looking sloth.
And it's just like,
that's awesome.
The only thing you have to do right now is just lay.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't feel good on your back, you just bend your knees.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes laying there is difficult.
Right. Well, you can always tell, like,
for me.
Yeah, you can tell. Not for you per se, but you see people who come in who just like, they can't sit still. Yeah. They can't be there for a few minutes. And then you've got people that are like, that was the shortest 5 minutes of my life.
5 more minutes, please. Like the snooze button.
Yes.
I sat up early during the last one because my body was ready to move. And I was kind of like, I should have stayed there. It would have been a good mental challenge, but.
Yeah, you do you.
Do you move for joy or move for strength? Or what's your favorite?
I would say both because I think it really depends on what you're, got to be able to climb that volcano if the opportunity arises. So I need the strength.
Yeah. And Daniel Tiger says you can feel 2 things at once. So.
Yes. Thank you, Daniel.
So yeah, that's true. So you were like, you want the strength, but the joy once you're up that mountain too.
Right.
It's like you can have both and train for both. And I say train.
And the joy of like, when you're later in a yoga class, your muscles are warm and you might be able to reach your toes when you didn't expect to. Or, when the first yoga class I ever went to in my early 20s, I could not touch my own toes.
Yeah.
So I think it's, that back to the not feeling like an athletic person. I think a lot of people say, well, I'm not flexible, so I can't do it. And it's like, well, along the way, you might find the joy in it and you might become a little bit more flexible.
Yeah. Don't decide who you are already.
Right.
We're changing beings.
We are.
Gorgeous.
Wear many hats.
What?
Who wear mini hats.
Wear mini hats. I thought you said wear mini hats. I'm like, what's a mini hat? I thought I was about to learn about a mini hat. It's okay.
No, sorry, I don't know
but
what a mini hat is.
We wear
And
mini hats.
we feel more than one thing.
Yes.
And we're prisms.
We're complicated onions. We're complicated, beautiful little onions.
Yeah.
The yoga fail. Falling out of balance pose or accidentally snoring during meditation. Which is this is like the biggest fail. Like or is there a fail? I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong.
There's no right or wrong. There just is.
Yeah. That was the most yoga thing I have ever heard. And I loved it. I loved it. There just is. So, okay. So
if you do snore though, that's when we typically go tap someone on the shoulder just because it's embarrassing for them. They don't feel like.
You're like, I don't mind.
Right.
But I don't want you to wake up and be like.
And if it's a soft snore, you won't wake them up.
Yeah.
We don't wake them up. But if it's a loud snore, and it's pretty rare. I think I've only ever woken up like 1 or 2 people.
Okay. That's really nice to hear as somebody who, when I meditate, I try to meditate at least once a day. But I find my husband jokes. He's like, how was your meditation? Because he knows I fell asleep. Like I always fall asleep. And I've thought of taking classes where they do the sound bowls. And I'm like.
Have you taken a sound bowl?
I haven't. I want to. It's on my list of things I want to do.
There's one May 1st or 2nd right over here at Bella.
Can I go? Do you want to go together? Do you teach it?
No, I don't teach it, but
can I go?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's go together.
Yeah. I think it's a Friday night. I don't remember if that's May 1st or 2nd. But.
Okay. Well, we'll check our calendars after this because I want to do it. And if I fall asleep, you'll tap me on the shoulder.
But that's okay too. If you don't snore, if you're just asleep, who cares?
Okay. This is encouraging. Thank you for saying that. I feel like even me, I had some anxiousness and an idea of what it would be if I fell asleep, and you just changed that in 5 seconds. Sometimes. That was gorgeous. I feel like we've talked about the idea of what Zen actually means through life. We're just living life, right? Mm-hmm. And things happen. So my question, I want to actually change it because it was, what's the most un-Zen thing you said, getting your kids into the car? But it's what I'm going to change it and say, what's a mindful way you've changed your mindset of rushing to the car and instead where it's like, okay, this is what it is. Tell me what you
I don't
think.
know, because rushing to the car is not my, that's not where I shine.
I get real like, let's go.
I know. I said, I thought you had your shoes. What do you mean you didn't make a water bottle? You're going to tell me in 10 minutes you're thirsty. Do we have time to go make a water bottle? No, we don't. So now I'm going to share my water bottle.
Yeah. I feel like you're just repeating everything I said this morning. Were you there?
No. I guess this too shall pass because it's not it's not my prettiest time getting in the car.
I find myself saying this a lot, probably more than I should, but as my kids are getting out late to school, I'm like, being late doesn't define you. Like I'm yelling at us. I love you. It doesn't define who we are as people.
That's hilarious because I feel like I
though.
have some of that in myself. My husband is a very punctual human being.
Yeah, we need a balance.
Right. And I think I drive him, I know I drive him insane in that, but he does a really good job of just like, okay. Like just accepting it because it's not worth the fight, but it's like, it kills him a little bit. And I'm just like, but we were only 2 minutes late. Like we were just barely late. We've come a long way.
Yeah, growth.
Right. Remember how late I used to be for things?
Right. Yeah. Look at our growth. Yeah, you should look at it. Always. We're not behind.
I know.
What is one thing you stopped shrinking for?
My yoga clothes.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like sometimes I, want to wear looser things and sometimes I want to wear a tighter thing. And the tighter thing, I'm just like, oh, I don't know about this. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't care. This is easier to move my body. This is a faster paced class. I'm going to, So, yeah, I would say yoga clothes.
I really like that, though. Like, it's about feeling good in what you're wearing.
Right.
And feeling like it's appropriate for what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, I really love that. I feel like, if I can just say this, I've gotten so much from our time together today.
Oh, well, thanks.
And I already just admired you and I was just watching you mom and exist and do all the things, because you never know when people are watching, but we are. And I got so much from you just being who you are. And I feel like today, all these beautiful little nuggets and just hearing about the impact you make on other people's lives is so amazing.
Thanks.
I'm thankful that you've been here today. I'm thankful for who you are. And I want to say thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah.
That's very sweet.
And just being who you are.
Cool.
I love it. You're like, I received this, but it's hard.
Yes.
But it's
the
true.
light in me sees and honors the light in you.
Oh, I love that. Well, and I would love to know, be able to tell people, where can we find you? Where can we follow you? Where can we take your classes? Like, how can we follow you on socials? If you could tell us.
Oh, okay. My Instagram is pickmegyoga. I teach at Bella Yoga over here in just right outside of Pecan Grove and Awakened Yoga. 2 different vibes, wonderful places. And I have some friends of mine are putting a retreat together in mid-May.
So exciting.
Yeah, Ember Rose Retreats. They're
Okay.
precious. And I'm going to teach some of the yoga at that as well.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone, we can go follow and sign up for the classes and do all the things.
Yeah. And if you have any other yoga questions, or there's something like, I don't know if I should do this, or I'm nervous, or I'm worried I'll fall asleep. Like, if there's questions you have, like, feel free to send me a message. I'm happy to answer any yoga questions.
Oh my gosh, she does it all. You do it all. I love it.
Answering questions on your phone is not that.
I don't know. Sometimes I look at it, I put it down, I walk away. What day is it? I'll catch it.
I do a lot of that.
So it's amazing. And I appreciate you being open to that. That's really cool. I love when we can all offer something to the world around us extra. Thank you again for being here today. This has been so much fun. So honestly, I've learned so much and I've laughed so much. This has been great. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Chelsea.
Yay, you're the best. Yay.